I think we all love a warrior woman. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was
Gay
bra-
energy.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I was brainstorming ideas for like what's the next book I'm gonna write. The my previous series, Mermaids of Ariana Kwai, was also about warrior women. So I'm like, I want to do that again because I loved it so much. And I was kind of thinking like, okay, what do I want to write about? I love horses. I love like my grandma's Icelandic, so I love Icelandic mythology. I'm like, Valkyries are the perfect thing for me to write about. Like there is a gay plot built into that. It's like ready to go. So I was like, Valkyries are I was born to write this book. So yeah, that's where that came from. I think these warrior women are like the fiercest women in the nine realms. So there's a lot there. Like I was just super excited to dive into that.
Well, and
Uh,
it's so true because it's like every time you see any of these, like, I think Valkyries, anything with like Amazons, anything, like anytime you watch, like everyone remembers going to see the first when the first Wonder Woman
Wonder Woman, yeah,
came
yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
Or like I even remember all the way back to like watching Xena as a kid, and you're just like, come, you expect me to believe that these women, these like badass, powerful, like don't need no man women, are all straight?
Yeah.
Highly unbelievable.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Well, also like what's it called? Valkyrie from Thor
Yeah.
Yes.
is like
Canonically
canonically
bi.
bisexual,
Yeah.
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 Which is of no surprise. I think there's also like there's some really interesting stuff too. Like it's very briefly talked about in the book, but you had a point where one of the Valkyries uh was born in a boy's body, and you
Mhm.
sort of talk about that. Could you talk a little bit about like why you chose to put that in, and also that like the way that you wanted to talk about trans trans people and gay people in a way that was like felt very fit in with the world. Like we're not talking about it in a way that like people are like, "Oh, that's different or wrong," as we hear in other like types of stories. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I really wanted to write about a world where like different sexualities are just standard. It's not really like my coming out experience was like, oh, I'm into women, and it was there's kind of a barrier, like a mental barrier around that. And I wanted to write a world where there isn't that, where you're just like, I like this person and it doesn't matter. Like you don't have that, oh, I'm gay or oh, I'm whatever. It's just like I like this person for who they are. So that was really cool to be able to write that. And there is evidence that the Vikings were a more like sexually liberal society than we are.
Then
And
the Puritans, hard to
yeah,
imagine, right?
Surprise, yeah.
and like a lot of that might have got filtered out because the people who recorded info about Vikings and like their religion were medieval Christian historians.
Mhm.
So they might have filtered that out. Like we don't really know. And there's, like Odin practiced sorcery, and that's considered a feminine activity. And Loki is gender fluid. There's a lot of gods like that where they just like switch genders and it's not a big deal. It's just part of who they are. So it just makes me think, okay, Vikings were probably more of a liberal society than
Yeah.
the one that we grew up in. And so it was a lot of fun to just put that into the world and explore like sexuality and gender roles that way.
Well, and it's also, I mean, historians still do that now, right? I mean, we see those things all the time where you get those posts of people being like, "Wow, this painting of two women naked in bed together." Like historians believe they may have been best friends.
Friends.
And you're
Yeah.
like, right, okay, okay, sure. So like, yeah, I would 100% believe that like, ancient or like old-timey Christians came in and were just like, how do we like straight wash all over this,
Yeah.
and make it all like our moral understanding of the universe. But that's why I love, like, I have to say, especially, I feel like at this point now, with like in the world of 2022 that we live in, and with the growth in representation that we have these days, like I do believe there is nothing more boring than when people are like, I'm going to create like a whole new world and universe and whatever, where like everyone's still homophobic.
Yeah.
You're like, why? For what? Like, to what end?
Yeah.
Why? Like, we all
There
live
is
in
no
this
need.
world. There's no need for that, right? I mean,